survived, as I said, many changes. Several of which came about in a rather unexpected way. The book was finished in October of 2008 and sent along and somehow picked up and accepted for publication, and the editing process began, and this was something very exciting for me, and a new way to learn about my writing and my non-writing and sort of various things that come with the process. And in the meantime, I had believed that my connection to certain parts of the book was a lot stronger than others. I was very strongly connected to the elements of the past, the elements of fable, the elements of, doctorhood, though I am not myself a doctor and you would not want me to be one. Even though I had been going back to the former Yugoslavia since 2003 and visiting places that were significant to my family, I still felt that I hadn't quite made an absolute cultural connection to, for instance, village life or to just certain aspects of the language and certain relationships between people, and this frustrated me because the book was going into edits, and I felt that it could be better. And then, in 2009, Harper's Magazine came to me and asked me to do a nonfiction piece and to research it. I don't know if you've noticed, but there's a vampire trend going on in the West right now. People are very interested in them. There's like a series called Twilight. I don't know. So something like that. You hear whispers of it on the wind, but nothing really distinct. So I wouldn't be surprised if you didn't know about it. I'm kidding. So I was asked to go back to the Balkans as Thea Obreht, vampire hunter, and track no joke, and track down places in the former Yugoslavia where vampirism or legends of vampirism had been documented, recorded, and stamped into all vampire history books. Places like Kisiljevo and Zarozje, which are, really significant in vampire history. And so I went, and it was a completely different capacity to visit, my homeland than had ever been available to me before. And the research mainly involved looking villages up based on the names that they had in vampire lore, realizing that they were not named the same thing anymore. Trying to track them down on maps, and when this proved futile, sort of zeroing in on the main area where the location was supposed to be and asking locals where it sort of might be. Knocking on someone's door when I finally got to wherever it was and saying something like, "Hi, you don't know me, but I'm here to talk to you about your vampire." And one of two things would happen. Either the door would be slammed in my face and I would be knocked off the stoop, or they would invite me in for rakia, and which is a sort of a local brandy, a derivative of brandy that is more like turpentine with fruit notes, and has what you would probably imagine to be a similar effect to drinking turpentine. And after several shots of that, would begin to tell the legend of the local vampire. And it was just stunning and a completely new way to experience the Balkans for me. And I was privileged to be exposed to people's regional myths, to family legends, to the way people had connected themselves to the past of their village, their region, their forebears, through these stories that, for better or for worse, in the light of day, you just simply know aren't true, or in the way you're getting them certainly aren't true, because chances are pretty solid, that nobody telling the stories really did wake up and see somebody looking in through the window who later sucked their blood. But, or maybe, I don't know. But it really changed the way I thought about the elements of the book that had frustrated me. And so I came home, and through this inadvertent research, that had enhanced my knowledge of village life and village lore, I was allowed to take my book back from my editor, who was annoyed but gracious, and rewrite something like 120 pages of it really late in the game. It made the rest of the book fall into place for me, and I felt I could live with it, and it was published last year, March 8th, 2011, and is now in paperback, and it's here, and you're all here, and thank you so much for coming out to support it and to support me, and now that's my spiel, so I'm very eager to take questions.